morning, good morning. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the charts. So if you remember from a few days ago when I drew this chart out, doing another one of my little analysis monologues, preparing myself for my trading day here. I'm getting started a little later today, but we'll be getting into the U.S. Opening in the next 3 hours. The European market is going to be closing down for the day. Let's go ahead and check on this chart over here and look on a 15-minute. So let's see, where are we at in terms of the day? So the Asian market opened up and really, pre-market Asia pushed really high quickly after a bit of a dump, and actually pre-market Asia pulled back, and then they continued up after a nasty dump from yesterday's steep decline, as I called. Actually, if you recall and look at the title of my yesterday's video, you'll see that this is the area I was saying that if we don't hold this, we're going back down into these accumulation zones. It is very clear to me in the charts on both of these charts that I'm looking at on a day-to-day basis that actually this is the accumulation zone, right? And actually it's a little bit higher than I thought, because looking at volume profiles here, it's actually more, I noticed it as I was loading up the charts this morning. It's actually one step above this, right? It's actually right in here that we have. I was expecting us to fall potentially all the way back down into these lower parts of the GAN, which indicate to me this accumulation GAN fan is what I'm calling it anyways, indicates to me that this is the area where the market makers are going to be trying to push back down, and that's where you're going to find support, because that's actually where the large amounts of money are just sitting down there waiting to buy. And across two charts, I can see it. This is playing out only for another, this is the thesis for up until September 2nd. So not another, not too much longer will this particular setup hold. But what we're looking at today is, Asia pushed up to the top. We got up to almost 1250, which again, there's another GAN fan that I have out a little bit further, so into next week, which seems to be holding pretty good. Overall, I still get the feeling that we're hitting strong resistance and we're not done accumulating in these zones. So maybe even out further into next week, we're still likely to see pretty, ugly downturns into the, on BTC side, 17,000, 18,000, at least 19,000. That's kind of where we're hitting on the BTC side, on the Bitcoin side. And CRO is the coin that I'm looking at here today. And that's what I'm trading on a daily basis, because I have because I'm trading on crypto.com. So I have some nice trading fee deductions and so forth. Nothing other than that. I mean, it correlates very closely with Bitcoin, and it tends to have slightly less volatility than some of the other tokens anyways, which is suitable for me, even though, of course, my profits aren't as big, but the losses aren't either. And I'm still trying to figure out how to model all of this stuff. And ultimately, I'd like to build some automated models based on my intuition of the chart tools that I'm using, essentially this GAN fan and some fib ratios and so forth. And anyways, we open the day, down here at 12, around 12, which is exactly in this accumulation zone. And we are getting a nasty kind of rejection, back down. So overall, it feels like for the next week, maybe 10 days leading into the announcements from Jackson Hole, and also the ETH2 merge planned for mid-September. It kind of feels like there's still more pressure to the downside for accumulating. But as of right now, we haven't really broken this accumulation zone. If we get lower than 1175, where we hit the previous last week's low, then expect a nasty downturn. I mean, if we pull this back, right, we can really still go pretty far into the depths. I don't have a good GAN fan to show that right now on this chart, but we do expect that probably, or I do expect today that we will probably, especially I see another longer term, distribution fan here. Will probably, if we fail, 1230, we're likely to at least hit 1212 and more likely to come back into this accumulation zone around 12. So I guess one thing I'd say here is that my main area of interest for reversing out of my longs, which I am still holding longs. I did not set my stop losses properly here and ended up having to take a nasty little scary loss, and I did actually add into my position down here though. So I've increased my position while I was sweating it out, honestly, because I didn't know what was really going to happen. I don't really ever, who knows how far we will go, right? But the news is starting to get bearish again, or there's mixed signals. So it feels likely that actually this is the point that we're trying to, the market makers are trying to push us into these lower spaces to accumulate. And so I'm trying to follow that intuition. It does, leading out to the, as I was saying, leading out to the first of the month, it does look like, there's this pretty clear line here, which is holding support. And as of today, right now, it continues. So, and it's a rising support line. So if we, get lower than about 1225, okay, yeah, we might come down for a nasty, just like here, and another, long accumulation, short, short push to the downside before we then race up back toward the 1250, 1270 lines, which would be retesting yesterday's highs. It feels like that's actually a very likely scenario. So I'm gonna be looking at putting some buy orders in this zone, heavier here, and maybe a couple smaller orders in this space, and I'm going to be watching this line. So on the distribution side, so if we can't clearly with volume make it over 1250, which is about here, then if we make it over that and then retest, I'll sell in this zone, retest, rebuy in the 1250, and then stop loss out in this zone 1230 again, with an expectation, like 12, more like 12, maybe 1235 to 1230. I'll be closing some of my positions and then close all the rest again if we actually drop significantly lower than 1230, meaning back into this zone where I was buying initially, because it means this was actually just a stop hunt loss, and people, the market makers were accumulating shorts up here while getting rid of their longs to pull it back down. And then we'll likely be testing the daily open, which is around 12, and we better hold that. And so I would move some of my long accumulations down there and start accumulating longs again all the way through to 1188, 1185. Because again, this has been holding a very strong, this area, this zone between 1180 and 11, and 12 has been a very strong accumulation zone for CRO in the past week. I am pretty optimistic though that today is going to be an opportunity to clear out of my longs in this zone before we pull back, because already going into the EU session, we are pushing up. We've already hit some highs for the week twice, and we are also forming a bit of a W. It's not a beautiful horizontal W, but it is a rising W, and it does seem that we are actually gaining momentum today. As of we saw yesterday, though, it's very quick to reverse. We have leftover liquidity here that that of course whoever bought in here is going to want to be recovering. They're in the loss. Everything below here is in a loss for them, and so forth. So I do believe that this vector candle will get filled, and it feels like it might very well get filled today. So I think that, again, summarize, this is my distribution zone for my current longs, 1265, maybe all the way up to, maybe I'll, clear out completely into 1270. And I'll be looking to then reaccumulate my first step at 1250, 1240, and then I'm going to start dumping after we get down to 1230 and dump all of it and switch into short once we leave 1230 zone. So I would then look at reaccumulating in the 1180 to 1190 to 12 zone again once more for a potential, essentially a potential zigzag. We're basically going like this, we're going sideways. And so I'm trying to learn how to sell at the top, at the bottom, and accumulate on the way up and accumulate shorts on the way down, right? Accumulate longs on the way down and short, and accumulate shorts on the way up and long. So with that, I'm going to switch over to one more view. Again, the volume, let me just see if what I said makes sense. So again, the volume at 0.12 is the strongest. So this is actually more appropriate than this guy. So I'll clean that up in a bit. We did make it over. Okay, so great. We did make it into and over, again, this resistance, which we've been trying to get through now since basically Asia, hit the peak of their trading hours. Of course, we did hit the resistance, which is where we dumped, it's the line that we dumped from yesterday that I was warning about. And we can expect to, maybe, again, that's the 60 levels. It would be where I would expect us to, if we do have a good day today and it's a green day, then, this is the area I was just talking about, that we would be hitting resistance again, which lines up with that same line. So again, my thesis holds true, and the 1180, this is even, 1180 exactly. 1180 to 12 holds true. So here's what I'm going to be looking for in the next few hours. I'm going to be looking for a pullback to the 1230 and maybe even down, by the end of the day, we can, it looks like we can pull back all the way through to 1210 and still be bullish, right? We still could be pushing outwards, right, from here. But I'm not sure that I want to hold that long, because I don't think that's the way it's going to work. We're moving very quickly in these cases. So when have we seen this before? Yeah, when we fall through it, we fall through it, right? And when we're resisting it, we resist it. And right now, actually, it does look like there's some short, there's some long accumulation here because volumes are going up. And so, generally speaking, I'm bullish for the short term, but watching very closely. Let's see what DXY is doing. This is for the hell of it. Oh, geez. Interesting. That's not good. Again, this has been so weird. The DXY, the dollar, is again diverging from the actual asset prices. Usually, when we see the dollar, rising, we should see all the other asset prices falling. But, we could be setting ourselves up for a US dollar sell-off, which could bring us back, deep into this zone. Otherwise, the next big level up is going to be 109.25 approximately, which would be essentially where we found resistance in the most recent short accumulation zone before we pulled back heavily, and then there's that, that's probably where those guys ended up reversing. The same ones who bought here and pushed the market down, probably here were longing and clearing their shorts to push it up. And so we're right in, again, a very important line, as is very usual. The fact that we're moving in the opposite direction than we would expect. The rest of the market's green. DXY's green. That's so unusual, right? Basically, and historically speaking. So there might be, very, very suspiciously right now, looking at like on the U.S. dollar side, a stop hunt loss type situation where this is going to be a huge vector candle. It's going to get up here. Let's just watch it. I only have a few more minutes before I need to turn this off, but let's just watch it. I mean, what's the probability here? What is the probability that we get right to that spot and turn around? Let's go to the minute. This is going to be interesting. This is how, and this GAN fan here has been here for a while. So again, this is not something I just charted up to, and we're looking at it in real time, right? Minute to minute. Let me go over here actually and look at the vector. Let's see if there's any vector candles here forming on the 15 minute, maybe. Yep, there you go. What do you know? Yeah. Okay. So, so whenever you see a green candle like this, it means almost certainly, this is a stop hunt loss. This is the market makers quickly they're making market trade orders. They're shorting, which means they're buying higher and higher prices, so that then they're going to end up taking it back down and then push the market in the opposite direction to recover this candle. So this is a 15-minute candle. Let's see on the 5-minute. Where are we at? Yeah, okay. It's a vector candle on the 5 as well, and we have about a minute left before that candle actually gets pushed into we get a new candle. We can look at it on the 1 minute. Do we have vector candles there? No, it's not showing up on the 1 minute, but now on the downside, we can see the vector candle is actually forming. So we're getting resistance. So, and this is right. I think, if we go back over here, okay, so it's like at the one, it's a 21 level basically, right? 21, this line might be off, whatever, like this much, right? That's plus or minus okay in my book. I can't, I'm not modeling this with systemic or algorithmic precision, mathematical precision. So it's entirely possible we just hit that line and we're going to be pushing back now. It makes sense, right? Because so if I was trading US dollars, I would be shorting it right now in heavy, because essentially, what I could be doing is longing the CRO, which is actually what I think I'm going to do. I think we're going to get a pullback. Given this, I think we're going to get a pullback into which zone here? Into this. Maybe we'll get a pullback all the way back down. No, that seems too far. Maybe down to this even number here, 1233. We might get a pullback when the US dollar starts shifting, and then before we bounce off for the day even further, or the US dollar is going to get up here and just hit fire, basically, throw gasoline on the fire. But my suspicion, and we'll see how it plays out. I got about 30 seconds before I need to end this. My suspicion is, and we'll check on it tomorrow. My suspicion is that we're going to be pulling back. We're going to try to hold this high from yesterday, and we're going to fail it and start making progress back into the 50-day, 50 EMA zone down here, which means long for the day. I'm going to be selling my CRO up in the 1260, 1270 zone, and wish me luck. How are you guys doing? Give me a thumbs up if this ends up being true. Give me a thumbs down if it ends up not being true. Tell me what you're trading, and Be safe out there, guys. Don't forget your stop losses. Cheers. Take your profits.